Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It's kind of early for me. It is 9:57 p.m. and I'm gonna take the long way home. No, I'm not on my way home. I just left the house. I am on my way to Meijer. I want to get some hummus and some chips, and I'm gonna watch an episode of the Boulet Brothers. I have literally done nothing today, and it has been fantastic. And I know it probably doesn't seem like on the vlog that I do a lot, but I am just running like all day. And between and I haven't been talking a lot about this on here, but in the last few weeks I've been really working hard on a writing endeavor that I'm doing. And so, I love this, by the way. It's fantastic. So if you're looking for a good lip product, I mean, it's not just that it's so pretty, which it is, and kind of cool. I took it to the holiday party, at Alex's holiday party last night, and everybody was asking me for it. And one of our friends was like, I think our daughter has that, and their daughter is like 6, maybe 4. So anyway, but I said, you paid $20 for lip balm from Ulta. They were like, we didn't pay $20. I'm like, well, it was $20 from Ulta. Because I could see it on the price tag. But anyway, so, but I think between, like, traveling last weekend, which, I mean, we had an amazing time. But I'm talking more about, like, the flight coming back and all of that kind of stuff. Unpacking, getting the dogs, doing all that. And then with my friend's passing and having to go to everything with that, you know, and just all of the stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't see. Plus on top of that, trying to make several videos a day. I just think I woke up today and I was like burnt out. I was like, I felt exhausted today. And I actually had several videos. I had a tag for my BookTube video that I wanted to do. I wanted to review Disney Plus. I don't even know if I talked about this on here, but I ended up getting the bundle because people were talking about it in the live stream the other day. So I wanted to review Disney Plus, and then I already had like the meditation book set out, and then my vlog, so that would have been like 4 videos that I was, well, no, because I had a drama video I was gonna make. It wasn't like anything like super exciting drama. It was just kind of commentary on an interview that I had seen with Tati Westbrook. I don't even know that I'm still gonna do that video. But, and then the book, I mean, I had videos for all of my channels that I was gonna make today. And last night when I went to bed, I was like, okay, tomorrow after we get back from brunch, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna film the videos, and then, you know, it is what it is. I literally woke up today and I was just like exhausted. Like physically and mentally exhausted. And yes, it is 33 degrees and I do have on my Birkenstock sandals. I have jeans on though. But we had a great brunch. I had the California Dreamer omelet and cinnamon toast and crispy potatoes and coffee. Oh my God, the coffee. Here I have leftover coffee. It was coconut cream and it's so delicious. It's so good. They like changed over their coffee company a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, a couple weeks ago. And I don't know where they ordered their coffee from before, but now they get it from that Hubbard and Craven's, which is, I think, local in Indianapolis, or I don't know, maybe it's not local, but they get it from Hubbard and Craven's, and the coffee is fantastic. It is so good, and this is coconut cream, and the thing that's funny about it is, I'm not a huge, like, coconut fan. Like, I don't like coconut on, like, a cake or anything, you know, and I don't like any kind of coconut cookies, but, like, I like kind of the coconut flavor of things sometimes, like coconut water, I like. And this is fantastic, this coconut cream coffee. So got that, and then we were sitting there at brunch. Well, before we left for brunch, like Alex had to wake me up like 3 times. And he was like, babe, if you don't want to go to brunch today, I was like, no, I want to go to brunch. And so we went to brunch, and I just was like, the whole time, I just was kind of like this. Like, our server came over and talked to us because we're like friends with them, and we were sitting there talking to him, and then one of the other servers came over because we're friends with her too, and we were sitting there talking to them, and I mean, I literally just felt like I couldn't even have a conversation. I was so tired. I don't know if you ever feel that way. So Alex was like, he was like, babe, why don't you just take the whole day and just relax? And he was like, you know, you never just like go an entire day without doing anything. He was like, you're, you know, always like either, you know, because we have this other stuff on the side. He's like, you know, you're either like responding to emails or you're writing or you're, you know, doing something creative, which is great. He was like, but why don't you just take the day and just relax yourself? And it was really hard for me to get like from to that side of like, I'm just not gonna do anything today. And I'm just gonna, you know, like, and in all honesty, like literally every Sunday, like we go to brunch and Alex comes home and watches like 8 shows, like back to back while I like film videos and do stuff, you know, I mean, I don't care. It's how he enjoys his day. But I think that's what, you know, most people do is they take a day on the weekend or a couple hours on the weekend and they just relax and enjoy themselves. So I don't know, like I've always had a hard time. I'm sure this isn't a surprise to anybody that I've always had a hard time. I don't know if this is, you know, from having, you know, severe ADHD or whatever, but like I've always had a hard time sitting still. Like if I'm up, like I'm up and I'm doing something. Even when I was a kid, that was hard for me. Like I have a hard time just sitting still and not doing anything. They got hot box pizza and breadsticks. That looks good. Anyway, so when we got back to the house, Alex went inside and he was like, I'll just take care of the dogs and stuff. So he was like taking the dogs out and feeding them. And I ran to Meijer because we needed, we were like out of, what do you call it? Like cleaner, like multi-purpose cleaner for the counters and stuff like that. And I wanted to see which new kind of holiday scents Mrs. Meyer's had, because Mrs. Meyer's usually puts out holiday scents. Like, well, I wouldn't necessarily say holiday scents, but like in the fall, because it's all stuff from the garden. So in the fall, they'll put out stuff and it'll be like a mum scent or an apple cider scent or whatever. And they really do smell like the smells that you would buy, like, or that you would have if you got stuff from the garden. Like it literally smells like plants, mums, or it smells like, what do you call it? Like she has peony. Well, I think it's a family that owns it. So anyway, I went in there today and they had like Fraser fir, which, you know, smelled like straight up pine, but it almost smelled like pine sol, like really strong, like pine. And that's not one of Alex's favorite scents. So the other one that they had was orange clove, like, you know, like an orange that you put cloves in it and put it in the oven. And it smelled really, really good. So I got 2 bottles of that, one for upstairs in the bathroom and then one for downstairs in the kitchen. And then I came back and I was so tired. I was listening to Let It Snow because I'm still trying to finish that stupid book. I mean, it's not a stupid book. I love the book, but I was trying to finish it on the way back. And I was just like, So I got back to the house and I was like I was rendering the vlog because I hadn't even rendered it yet from the night before. And Alex was like, I said, he said, are you okay? And I said, I'm so tired. And he goes, babe, just come upstairs and go to sleep. And I was like, because he was up there in bed watching shows on his computer. He was watching all the trailers or stuff that he wanted to watch because of Hulu and Disney Plus. So if you have things that you think I need to definitely see on Hulu and Disney Plus, let me know. I'm definitely going to watch The Handmaid's Tale. I just don't know when I'm going to start that. Because right now I have 2 episodes left of season 2 of the Boulet Brothers, and then I'm probably going to go right into season 3 because I'm so obsessed with Dracula. I love that show. It is so good. But anyway, so I started rendering my vlog, and then I came upstairs and I went to bed, and I set my alarm for at that time it was 5 o'clock, and I set my alarm for 7:30. I wanted a good long nap. And I woke up at 9:30. But I needed it. I really needed it. I still feel really kind of drained right now. I just feel physically drained. I don't feel sick. I was talking to Tanya earlier and she was like, well, maybe you're getting sick. I don't feel sick. I just feel like drained. So I don't know, hopefully tomorrow I'll feel a little bit better. There's like a juice place right by us. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go and get like a really healthy juice. And then I think I'm just gonna drink like water and stuff tomorrow and try to do a little bit of a physical cleanse. I know, we're not gonna even get into the food conversation tonight. I can't even go there. But anyway, so yeah, that was my day. It was nice actually, and the dogs were all like, you know, cuddled around me, and Alex was in bed with me, and he was watching TV shows, and it was just nice. It was just like so relaxing. It was such a perfect day to just take a nap. So that was my day. I don't really have a whole lot exciting to share about the day other than that. It was fun. I mean, it was, I don't know that fun is the right word. It was relaxing. It was needed. And I literally, since I just woke up like a half an hour ago, I think I'm still like in the process of waking up. I'll probably be, you know, fine here in just a little bit. And then I'm going to listen to, well, I'm going to go home after I get the hummus and stuff, and I'm going to watch an episode of the Boulet Brothers. I think the next episode I have is the reunion, which is like it's called The Last Supper. And then I have like the finale. So those are the 2 episodes that I have left to watch. I wish Trader Joe's was still open, because the other day, if you guys have a Trader Joe's and you like hummus, the other day that hummus that I got, which was like, it's like it's like the 3, you know, 7-layer dip, but it's hummus and it's 3 layers, and it's regular hummus, cilantro, and I don't know what the jalapeno maybe. It was so good. And I got these black corn chips or something. Oh my God, it was delicious. It was so good. So yeah, I talked to Tanya for a little bit today. That was earlier though. And that's been my real exciting day. Oh, I talked to Mel too about the book club book, which I will be announcing. I needed to do it 2 days ago, because we usually announce it on the 15th. But I'll just announce it on here too, because by the time that you see this, my BookTube video will already be up. But the December book is, I think it's called The Good Nurse. We've had so many people ask us to read this book. So we almost changed it, but like we've had so many people read it or ask us to read it. And then in January, we think that we're gonna read a book that is, it's more current, and it's something that just came out. We were talking about that today. And then going after that, we'll probably do some more serial killer books or whatever. So if anybody has what's that book, the Harper Lee one? I want to read that book too, where, I don't know if you guys know about this. I think I talked about this on here. There was this case that happened, and Harper Lee would go, I don't know, where did she live? Alabama? Georgia? Alabama? But anyway, she would go every day. This is when she was like late in life, like 70s, 80s. She would go to this trial every day. And people thought that that she was writing another book about this trial. And when she passed away, they found that she had tons and tons of notes about this trial. So the book has something to do with Harper Lee, but it's really more about this court case that happened. It was like a murder, I think. So this guy that killed his whole family. And she supposedly was like writing a book about it. I want to read that one too. But you know what's interesting about the book club, doing like a true crime book club, is that like whenever we read like a mainstay, like something about like John Wayne Gacy or the Zodiac Killer or something that you would think would be true crime, like it does very well like in the book club. But when we kind of wander away from that, because I was really excited about reading My Friend Anna, although I just think the book was it wasn't the greatest book in the entire world anyway. But when we like kind of float away from that, it sometimes doesn't do really well. Well, that's not necessarily true. Columbine, I mean, like that was such an important book, I think, to read, because it was the 20th anniversary of Columbine, or the Columbine shootings, and I had never really read anything about it. That guy that wrote that book, he wrote Parkland too. I can't think of his name. David Cullen. That book was fantastic, Columbine. A lot of people said that his facts, or a lot of his facts that were incorrect. But his facts that he got were from like the police and the survivors and people that were there. So I don't know. But there were like some parents, I think, that complained about the facts in the book were incorrect, or... But that was an important book to read. And then I want to read Parkland by him too. But Columbine was a really long book. That was the other thing. But I am glad that we read that book this year. I thought that was an important book to read. I mean, we've read some books this year in the book club that I think are important books, like right now, Dope Sick. And it's interesting because I haven't started it yet. I'm going to finish it, or I'm going to start it as soon as I finish Let It Snow. But it was interesting because when in my live stream the other day, a lot of people were saying that they didn't like it. That they didn't say that they didn't like it. They just said that it was a lot of names and a lot of numbers, because it's about the opioid epidemic in the United States. And it's starting with like pharmaceutical companies, and then it going into like neighborhoods and different areas. And I cannot tell you how many people have told me, whether in a live stream or have emailed me or messaged me and said that like they know people that are actually in the book. Like, that is crazy, isn't it? Scary. It's really scary. And that this is so prevalent and so real, that this true crime book about, well, it's not even really a true crime book, but it is a true crime book about the opioid epidemic, is that people that they know are in it. Like, sad. It's really sad. And but Mel, when I was talking to her today, she loved it. Now, she said it took her like 2 weeks to read, but she loved it. Oh, by the way, the next live stream for the book club will be Sunday, December 1st. It'll be the first Sunday in December, because the last Sunday in December is, I think, next weekend. So we're gonna do it then, and then it's after Thanksgiving, and everybody has kind of like gotten all of that out of their system and stuff too, you know. So we're gonna do it the first Sunday in December, which is the 1st. It's a Sunday after Thanksgiving, if you live in the United States. I do feel good though right now about one thing. Like, you know, I talk about being so busy and all this kind of stuff, but like, okay, I've been consistently writing. I've been consistently posting videos. You know, I'm consistently watching at least one show that I enjoy. I'm consistently reading a physical book and listening to an audiobook. You know, like, my house is clean, my bills are done. Alex and I have been spending time together. So, you know what I mean? Like, the dogs are healthy. I feel like I don't want to complain too much about how exhausted I feel, because at the same time, it's like I'm really loving my life right now. And if you've watched my vlog for a long time, you know it's like there goes periods where I don't watch anything on Netflix, and I really struggle just like making time, you know. And I don't know, and maybe that's just it. Maybe that's, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. But I even haven't been like taking naps as much as I have in the past. I mean, I'm still taking naps, don't get me wrong, because I know somebody will go back and be like, well, on 11/1, and yeah, I mean, I'm still taking naps. I took one today, forever. But like, when I get up and I do stuff, I'm not taking as many naps like I used to. Like, I'm telling you, back in the day, I took a nap every single day. Like, when I would come home from work, I would take a nap every single day. And my naps have always been long. They've always been like an hour and a half or 2 hours long. There's this retirement home right here, and I think it's so cute. Judy Collins has a new album coming out. It's supposedly like a holiday album, but it has a lot of songs that aren't holiday songs on there. And I don't know if you know who Judy Collins is, but she's a folk singer. And my mom loved her, and I grew up listening to Judy Collins because my mom loved her. And she was really famous for the song Both Sides Now, which Joni Mitchell also did, and I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan. And I'm laughing because there's a line in the movie Foxes with Jodie Foster, and she meets this girl meets Joni Mitchell out, and she's telling the story about it, and I can't say it because she said some very bad words, but anyway, but I'm like a huge Judy Collins fan. I probably like, you know when you talk about like musicians that you know like everything about, the group of musicians that I know a lot about is kind of weird and weirdly eclectic. Like Judy Collins, I definitely know like so much about. Like I know all her albums, I know all her songs. I could tell you, you know, where she wrote a certain song, you know, or that the first time that she ever heard the song, you know, just little stories like this, you know, first time that she ever heard, you know, Where Has the Time Gone? She was at the Chateau Marmont, you know, like, I love everything about her. I've listened to all of her albums. I've listened to her stories. I've listened to her interviews, whatever. Joni Mitchell is another one that's like that. Stevie Nicks is another one that's like that. Bob Dylan is another one that's like that. Grateful Dead. And then there's a lot of people that I like, but I don't really know much about. Like, my mom, like, knew everything, about... That's not the name of that. I'm sitting here saying all this, and then I'm like, where is that? What's the name of that? It's the name of her album, too. Judy Collins' album. Crossed. Where is all the time gone? There's a beautiful live version of that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. My favorite Judy Collins song of life is The Moon's a Harsh Mistress. And I don't even know why it's my favorite song. When I was younger, she used to sing, she had this song called My Father. And it's like, my father always promised us that we would move to France. Her stories are like, if you don't know much about folk music, they're stories, you know, like, and so I grew up with all that, because that's what my mom loved, you know, Arlo Guthrie, Woody Guthrie, his father, Peter, Paul, and Mary, you know, Mamas and the Papas, and that was all the stuff that I listened to. My mom would just put those records on for hours, you know. But I don't think people would probably guess that those are like the musicians that I know a lot about, you know what I mean? And I think the reason that I know a lot about them is just because I've listened to them forever, you know, like literally forever. It was at the end. So it's interesting when you think about like, well, who do you know about? Like, you know, what are musicians that you know a lot about? Like, it's always surprising to me, like, oh, we were walking through that airport in Miami when we were flying back to Indianapolis, and Alex was like, oh, there's so-and-so, and it was this guy with, like, he had, like, his hair and, like, it was, like, shaved around here, and then it was, like, dreadlocks, and then it was, like, down, and he goes, oh, that's so-and-so, and I go, who? And he goes, he's, like, a famous, I think he said Colombian singer. He's, like, a really famous Colombian, and he kept on, like, turning and looking at him, and I was like, well, go say hi to him or something, and get your picture with him, and he was, like, his name was, like, one word, like, I think it started with a D, but anyway, and he was, like, no, that's embarrassing. I was like, Alex, that is not embarrassing. Go up. He'll like that. That's flattering. But Alex knows so much about, like, Celia Cruz and, you know, all of these people that, like, he grew up listening to all their music, you know? And, like, it's interesting to me, like, who, like, Alex really, really loves, like, what Latino singers. And, like, he's obsessed with Shakira. Like, he and his friends, like, love Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. Like, they listened to their, like, Latin music when they were, like, growing up, and they would get ready to go out and stuff like that. Like, I'm telling you, there are nights that we get ready to go out, or Alex is getting ready for the day or whatever, that it's just straight up Shakira in the bathroom. And songs that you would never have heard of, too, you know, like, if you're only, you know, English speaking. Because I have them all now in my... It's so funny, because, like, when we go to Carlito or Carlos's house and stuff, like, I Shazam so many songs, because that's all they play there. I Shazam songs, and then, I, like, buy them. I think I have more Latino music in my phone than probably Alex does. And then the Christmas music is interesting, because the Christmas music there, in Venezuela at least, is not like typical Christmas music. Like, it sounds like dance music, like, you know, Latino dance music. And Alex will always be like, this is Christmas music. And it's more of like a celebration. It's more like celebratory music. And I didn't really understand that at first. So, like, he'd be like, this is Christmas music, you know, and I'm like used to, like, oh, holy night. You know what I mean? But anyway, his mom just got me into this person that's kind of like Frank Sinatra. I want to say he's Argentinian, because she just went to Argentina. When I was helping her put the video together of, like, all the pictures, that was the music that she wanted to use, which we couldn't end up using because something was wrong with, like, syncing my iTunes to it. But I downloaded this guy's music, and she's like, he's one of my favorites. And he, like, the pictures on the albums kind of looked like, you know, he had like a fedora like Frank Sinatra and stuff. I'll pull over and tell you what his name is in a second, because I downloaded like 5 of his songs. Music's interesting, isn't it? Oh, but the reason I was telling this story was because my mom and I loved this Judy Collins song. This was actually a song that she put out later in life, and it was called The Blizzard. And so, like, a lot of her songs are like she's just telling a story while she's singing. And so this song, The Blizzard, is about she's driving up. I mean, you don't really know who she is in the story, but she says, you know, I was driving up the mountain, and it's in Colorado, to get to the other side, to get to Denver by the morning or whatever, when she hits this blizzard. And so she stays at this little coffee shop overnight, and like, it just keeps on coming down and coming down and coming down. And then she says, this stranger. The stranger comes into the coffee shop, and he has a cabin on the side of the mountain, and he's like, you can stay up there. I'm like literally singing the words of it. And he's like, you can stay up there. I'll bring you back in the morning, and all this kind of stuff. And so they sit there, and like the guy that owns it, the stranger puts some like alcohol in her coffee, and they're like, it's just very like dreamy, you know, like that. And then she goes up there, and she talks about, like, the song is so fantastic because it's not just like this one night affair that she has with this stranger. She sits there and she's talking about how it's easier to tell things to a stranger, you know, because you'll never see him again. And so she's like telling him about how this guy did her wrong, and how she doesn't know that she'll ever get over it. And she's sitting there talking to the stranger, and he's like listening to her, and then he tells her about his life, and it's like this whole thing about how they go back and forth telling each other about their lives. And anyway, it's a really cool song. Okay. Lost Frequencies, EC Twins, Cocteau Twins, because I used to listen to them in high school, Heaven or Las Vegas. These are the songs that I've just most recently downloaded. Elderbrook, some remix. Tanzo and Morris remix. The Gypsy Kings, because we were listening to them a lot. And Miami, One of Us, Fun by Cascade. I love that song. Okay. Carlos Gardel, Christmas, Judy Collins. So she has a new Christmas album. I want to see what's on it. Sometimes I have to look at my phone. I become that old person that, like, I look at my phone and I'm like, like, I don't really know where my apps are, you know what I mean? I constantly go in and delete apps because I don't like to have a lot of them on my phone. I probably have less apps on my phone than any human being out there. I just don't like to have a whole lot of apps on my phone. Oh, she has 2 Christmas albums. Oh, it came out October 22nd. The Blizzard is on here. Amazing Grace. I love her voice. Anyway, it's not like really a lot of new songs, but Silent Night, Let It Snow, Joy to the World, and The Bleak Midwinter. The very first song I have on my iTunes is The A-Team by Ed Sheeran. And can I just tell you, it drives me crazy because literally every time that my Bluetooth thing comes on, it goes right to that song. I don't even like that song. And the next one is the theme song to Absolutely Fabulous. You can never have enough hats, gloves, and shoes. Are you guys ready for the holidays? I'm ready for the holidays. So, when I took Valerie to the casino the other night, well, a couple things happened. First of all, so, like, I've been going there for so long that I know, like, everybody that works in the casino, right? And there's this guy that works in there. He's really nice. And he dates this girl. She works there. He dates her sister. So they, like, how did she, so this other girl that used to work there, she doesn't work there anymore. She, one night, was sitting there and she was, talking to Valerie and I, and Valerie said something about, and she said, oh, this girl was like, we were sitting there talking, she was just standing there while she was, like, you know, waiting for having to go pay out somebody's Progressive or something, and she said, you are so funny. And Valerie goes, he's YouTube famous. And so she's like, what are you talking about? And so I was like, Valerie. And so I said, don't say that, Valerie. And she's like, he has YouTube channels, you should watch them. So she started watching my YouTube channels. I think I talked about that on here. And then, so this girl started watching my YouTube channels. Well, she mostly watches my review channels. So now when I see them, and so then she got her sister and her boyfriend, the other guy that works at the casino. So he always comes over. It's real funny. He always comes over and says stuff to me about my videos. But when I see them, because, you know, of my review video, like if I'm like walking through the casino and I pass them, they'll go boom, boom, boom. But anyway, okay, my battery died, so I had to pull in here to Half Price Bucks, which I haven't actually been to in a while, and change my battery. Put some lip balm on before I leave. Oh my God, there's a Donato's pizza there. I didn't even know that. I love Donato's pizza. I'm gonna use my apple cider one. Anyway, I hardly got out of the other parking lot before my battery died, and then I had to come over here and change it. So anyway, I was talking about the stuff that happened at the casino. The other thing that happened was, so back in the day, I used to play these certain, I would call them my old lady machines, okay? And the reason I did was because they were literally these machines that just like, nobody but like the plus, like the over 80 crowd would play, in all honesty, okay? And they were like, the butterflies And that was like, so it just was like the old, you guys know, like the quarter machines that would like max bet was like 75 cents, and there were no bonuses, there were no graphics, it was nothing like that, right? So there were like 5 of us that would always go up there like on Sunday nights, and we would play. We would always be up there on Sunday nights. And it was like me and my friend Lori, who, she's the one I talked about, you know, that lost both of her sons. And so she and I would go, and we would typically, like, if we were, like, if one of us was going to go, we would, like, you know, text the other one and be like, and she goes completely different times than me now, but she would be like, hey, you know, like, are you going to go up there tonight or whatever? And I'd be like, yeah. So, so it'd be she and I, and then there was this older lady that's like 80, and she was really sweet. And then it was like her friend who ended up, her husband died, and that had been sick for a long time, and then she ended up dating this guy that was like some millionaire or whatever, and she ended up marrying him. And then it was like this other woman that would come. She was there a lot, and I actually saw her like 2 months ago. And then there was the prayer cloth lady, which I think I've talked to you guys about the prayer cloth lady. I did actually did a video on my drama channel about the prayer cloth lady, and so anyway, but she was real funny, and so she had these prayer cloths that had like prayers written on them, and she would rub her screen, and she would say that Jesus wanted her to win the progressive and stuff like. Well, they didn't have progressives, but that Jesus wanted her to win the. I can't remember what we used to call them, the top ones. But anyway, so there were like 4 machines on one side. 4 machines on one side and 4 machines on the other side. And we would play there all night long. And they would play like, you know, at Christmas time, they would play Christmas music and stuff. And so we would always be running and getting each other coffee, like if one of us was getting coffee. And we would get there like early, you know, on Sundays. And then we would stay, and, you know, most of us would walk out together, and we would like order hot chocolates and stuff. It was fun, you know? And we got kind of close, like as close as you're going to get to somebody that you know in a casino. I know my haters are living for this right now. I know that they are like, this is the most pathetic thing in the entire world, that he had friends that he met up at the casino, fellow gamblers. Okay, trust me. The fact that it might be kind of sad and pathetic is not missed on me. So trust me, okay? When you come and eat me alive for that, I get it, okay? But at the time, that was my reality. And I'm really glad that I met those ladies. They were very, very sweet, and we had good times. And that's all I can say about it. Pathetic or not, sad or not, I don't really care. They were wonderful people, and they were very nice women, and we had good times. So they took all these machines out. They got rid of all the machines, because, you know, casinos like revamp stuff. They had them there forever, and we like only liked playing those machines. And around that time was when I met Valerie. And she and I would start going to the casino together. So, and she didn't like playing those machines. She liked playing something different. So I would play different games with Valerie. They took those machines out, and they built this lounge in there. And so I stopped seeing these women. Like, stopped seeing them completely. And, you know, Lori and I would talk on the phone and stuff, but like, because, you know, we knew each other from other, you know, but, I didn't know the other women because I didn't have their phone numbers. We didn't talk. I just saw them there. But we were close. Like, we would tell stories about our families and stuff like that. So this one woman, I don't know, she just always made me kind of sad. And she, like, was real sweet, very sweet. And her husband had died. And this isn't the one that ended up marrying the millionaire. She's older, and so this one woman would call her toboggan lady because she always wears a hat, like a ski toboggan. And so I hadn't seen her. Like, I literally have not seen her in the year and a half or whatever since they took those machines out of there. I've looked, you know, I would walk back sometimes because there were these other progressives that she would play that were like just 7s, and then they have like the progressive starts at 250, and I would see her from time to time, or I would go over and look at those machines from time to time, but I would never see her there. So, I had said to this guy and this girl that work at the casino, because they worked there when I used to play those old machines. I said, do you remember when I used to play back there? And they would say, yeah. And I said, do you remember my friend, the toboggan lady back there? Oh, yeah. You know, she still comes in here. And I'm like, she does? And they're like, yeah, this was like a month ago. And I said, well, if you ever see her, can you let her know that I said hi and I'd love to see her? And they're like, yeah, sure. Well, this one girl was like, yeah, sure, that works in there. So I was like, you know, okay. So when I was there with Valerie the other night, the girl came up to me and she goes, your friend is here. And I said, what? And she goes, yeah, she's back there playing those progressives and she's waiting for you. She's getting ready to leave. And I said, seriously? And she was like, yeah. So I went back there and I saw her, and it was so sweet, you know, and she gave me a big hug, and she was like, I miss seeing you. And we sat and talked, and she told me everything that was going on with her life and what she was doing now and where she was living, and so much had changed with her life. And she asked me about my life and stuff, you know, and they used to all just get such a kick out of YouTube, you know, like that was when I was kind of like just starting on the YouTube stuff, and they would get such a kick out of it, and they didn't really understand it, you know, but they would say, now, like, how do I look up your videos? I want to go home and watch it. And they would watch like my magazine videos and stuff, if you remember my magazine videos back in the day, and they always got such a kick out of it. And so we sat there and talked for the longest time, and no, I mean, not the longest time, like 20 or 30 minutes. It was so nice seeing her. And I really realized, you know, that like, I mean, I say at the end of my vlog every day, like, somebody, you know, that like, it doesn't have to be, you know, this teacher that, sweatshirt is like flipped over, you know, teaches you all of these great things about the world, or it doesn't have to be your greatest mentor that you say thank you to. It can be somebody that just filled a piece of your life for a small or a long period of time that had an impact on you. And she had an impact on me, you know. We had a lot of fun together, and silly fun, pathetic fun, I don't care. It was fun. And it was nice. And it was simple. It was a simple time in my life, you know what I mean? And I think about that sometimes, about like those Sunday nights, and I can remember, like, you know, Lori and I would walk in there, and the first thing we would do is get coffee. And then she'd be like, damn it, she's on butterflies, I wanted butterflies. I mean, it was just simple. It was stupid, you know? It's also funny, like, how, I was thinking about this the night that I went around to the bingo hall, you know? It's because my ex and I used to go to the bingo hall a lot. It's funny how something that is so a part of your life that you can't imagine what your life would be like without it. Like Melissa put something on Facebook like this the other day, that first they took down Champs, and they took down something else, then they took down Chili's over here, and she's like, they took down Marsh, the grocery store, what else are they going to take away that's going to make it feel like, you know, it's these things that you feel like you need to have in your life. Like, your life won't feel normal if it's not there, but then literally it's gone and you don't even notice it. It's like, I remember, you know, every Sunday almost going, you know, Alex would go to sleep and I would go to the casino, or he would, you know, be watching a TV show or whatever, and I would be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the casino. He'd be like, okay, babe, I'll see you tomorrow. And I can remember when they told us they were gonna move the machines, and we were all like, oh my God, what are we gonna do, you know? There was a couple that used to come up there too. They would come up, you know, some Sundays, and they were like, they lived in Anderson, where it was from, and we would hang out and talk to them. I haven't seen them in forever either. Maybe they don't go anymore. But But things change and things move on, and you get used to it, and you're just kind of like, it is what it is, you know what I mean? I think we are going to have a cold winter this year. I mean, the fact that it is like in November and it's like low 40s during the day and 30s and 20s at night, like, I don't think it's going to get a whole lot warmer. I just don't. I think this is what we're going to have. I need to get my car washed. Do I have my car washes in here? Oh my God, they're right there. I still have car washes. I mean, not tonight, obviously, but... Look, I was sent these sunglasses and I really like them and they're wood, but they don't fit my face. Valerie the other day said, no, I don't think they fit your face. I think they're so cute though. Anyway, oh, Jason's Deli, that's what it was. Jason's Deli is going away. I hated Jason's Deli anyway though. Melissa was like, I can't believe they're getting rid of Jason's Deli. How did I even remember that looking right at it? I think it's just overpriced and not good. Is it gone already? No, it doesn't look like it. The only thing that I've ever had well, they have a salad bar that's okay, but like, you know, like a salad bar is good if it has like some pasta salad on it and stuff like that. But, what is that? Fresh Italian, fresh stuffed peas. The only thing that I've ever had at Jason's Deli that I really liked was they had carrot cake there that I thought was delicious, but other than that, I was never real impressed with it. It don't impress me much. Oh, my Lanta. I already have my list of everything that I'm going to do tomorrow written down at home. I have all my videos that I'm going to make tomorrow already put down on paper. I have my whole day planned out for tomorrow. I have about 9 million things I have to do. If I don't do that, I don't get stuff done. And so tonight, before I left to come vlog, I was like, you notice I still haven't made it to the grocery store yet, to Meijer, right? To get something to eat, some hummus. We're on our way. We're on our way over there right now. But if I don't do that, if I don't kind of like map it out, or if I don't, you know, like put down what I need, to do the next day, like it won't happen. Like I'll forget something. What did I forget the other day? And it was something that was so lame. It was so simple. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even put it on my list and I totally forgot. All I really want is just some hummus and some more chips. I wish Trader Joe's was open. It's right there. New ultimate steak. The moon's kind of pretty. It's kind of like a harvest moon a little bit. Do you guys like Neil Young? I love Neil Young. I love that song, Harvest Moon. I love that whole album, actually. I'm ready for the holidays, but I can tell that as soon as like December 26th hits or New Year's Day, I'm gonna be ready for warm weather. Like that moment. I was really wanting to go somewhere after the holidays, but it's just too expensive. So I think we'll just wait. We're going to Miami in March, and then Las Vegas in May. That Las Vegas trip is going to be expensive. Everything is so expensive that week because of EDC. Oh, we are going somewhere. We're going to a wedding in February. I keep on forgetting about that. I'll be in Dallas in February. I've never been to Dallas before. I'm actually really excited. A friend of Alex's that he went to high school with and then he actually worked with for a long time. She moved to Dallas, God, how long ago? 5 or 6 years ago? Probably 5 or 6 years ago. And she's getting married. We used to do a lot of stuff with her when she lived here with her other boyfriend. And then they moved to Dallas. I think she moved to Dallas, like, for him. I can't remember now. But anyway, and then they broke up, and then she met this other guy, and now they're getting married. So, yeah, we're going out there. That'll be kind of fun to go to a wedding. I haven't been to a wedding in a long time. I don't love weddings, but I don't love weddings when we have a lot of them to go to. Like, you know, like every third weekend. There was like a summer, I'm sure some of you out there will totally relate to this. You know, there was a summer, I have to say it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, because I think that's like the age around when everybody starts getting married, that, you know, like a lot of Alex's girlfriends were getting married. And so, because of, you know, being the gay guys in the group, we were always, you know, invited to the bachelorette parties and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And then there were the weddings, and then we were in a lot of the weddings because we were friends with both of the couples, so they would have us speak and say something, and there was like one summer that it was just a lot, and I was just like, and I looked at Alex after that, and I said, listen, I love going to weddings, it's fun, it's romantic, whatever, romantical, but I don't want to be in any more weddings. Like, I just, you know what I mean? There becomes a point where it's just like, I don't want to be in any more weddings. It's like always the bridesmaid, you know, but I don't know, honestly, how people do it that are literally bridesmaid in wedding after wedding after wedding. I mean, it would be really, really, we joke about it, like we really do joke about it, but it would be really hard. You know, I have friends of mine that are coming up on like 40 or 50, and the reality is they haven't met anybody, and, you know, they've dated somebody here or there, and their picker sucks, and they end up dating, you know, total, I don't want to say losers, but losers, and, you know, guys that just don't treat them right, and most of my friends that are women that fit that category always saw themselves married, always saw themselves having kids, and now a lot of that's passed, and it just makes me so sad for them. I will say this to you, I do want to say this, tell a story though. One of my mom's very, very best friends, it was actually somebody that had moved back here right before my mom got sick, and she really helped take care of my mom. She left, she worked for Blocks, which was a department store in Indianapolis when my mom was like in high school. It's like Macy's, but it's like on a much smaller level. So she worked for Blocks, and she worked her way up, and she worked for Bonwit Teller stores. And then she worked for, what was the other store, the major store, I can't, Lord & Taylor. And she worked for, like, she worked her way up. And I think at the end she was working at Nordstrom. Or maybe, I don't know, but she was working somewhere like Bergdorf's or something at the end, and she was a buyer. She was always like, and she had worked herself up as a buyer, and so she was in, like, she lived in New York City, and she had dated this guy off and on for years. Well, they finally got married when they were like 50, like around the time that my mom got sober, so like 51 or 52. And it was like true love affair, like, and yeah, but she didn't get married until later, you know. So I don't know, I just have so many friends of mine, like, you know, people always are like, oh, you and Alex should have kids, you guys would be, well, listen, we don't want that. That was a decision that we made a long time ago. But, you know, I have a lot of friends of mine that would make great parents, that would make great mothers, and they always wanted kids, and it makes me sad, you know, that they never got to have kids, and I don't know, I feel bad for them. I think to some degree, we live in this society now with all of these apps and, you know, these relationship books and stuff. I have a feeling what I'm about to say may not be taken in the most positive way, but just hear me out. But we live in this society now, you know, where we live with all of these like dating apps and, you know, sites. And I'm not talking about the hookup sites. I'm talking about the legit sites like eHarmony and Match.com. I have known people that have like, in the Farmers one, I have several friends of mine that have like met and married off that Farmers one and stuff like that, right? Christian Mingle, J-Date, you know, where people get on there and they really, I've had so many friends of mine that have met people on eHarmony. Like, they pay for the higher end one on there, like where you can be pickier about the profile, but they've met a lot of people on there. And, you know, the thing is that I think we live in this world where, you know, there are books about what's your list of what you want your perfect partner to be, your perfect mate, and things like that. You know, when, there's a line in the movie Rear Window where Thelma Houston, who plays, she's such a great character actress, and she played Jimmy Stewart's nurse that would come into his house, and he's like, you know, she's like, why aren't you gonna marry her, Grace Kelly? And he's like, I don't know, you know, whatever. And she said, you know, back in the day, she's like, you met someone, you liked him, you got married because it wasn't that deep. Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that. You know, I think we live in this society now where it's like, and I'm not talking about real serious issues, okay? So, you know, I always need to clarify that. I'm not talking about abusive issues and things like that, but I'm talking about the run-of-the-mill person, where we have gotten to a point where we are so like picky with what we want somebody to have or what we think they should be like, or, oh, no, I'm not going to settle, and they better make this amount of money, or they better, you know, have this kind of family, or if they don't go to church, or if they don't do this. Well, that's fine and well, and I don't think anybody should ever settle their soul or who they are as a human being, but you might just be settling being in a relationship, you know? Like, I have friends of mine that, I'm not talking about giving up your morals and stuff, but like for me, okay, like just as an example, y'all know I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not really sure if I had waited around to meet another person that spirituality matched mine, that I would have ever been in a relationship, because my spirituality is of my own, right? Now, it has never been an issue with my husband, who is an atheist. It was never an issue with my previous relationship, who is an atheist going on an agnostic towards the end, right? Like, it's never affected our relationship. But I would have missed out on these relationships if I was like, no, I'm not going to date you because you're an atheist or you're agnostic or whatever, right? Now, that's my personal issue. Now, for people, it was at the end, but for people that, like, their religiosity and their spirituality is really important, I totally understand that. You should hold on to that, right? That's just an example for me. But then, you know, it's like with people, like with education. Well, if they're not college educated, or they don't have a PhD or a master's level, or they don't have this kind of job or whatever, it's like, okay, you are not going to meet the PhD that's making $250,000 a year, that goes the religion of your choice, that comes from the most perfect family where there is no issues whatsoever, that has, I mean, you're just not going to meet that person. I don't even know that that person exists, right? But, like, you settle a little bit in some ways, you know, it's like, I don't know, like, I'm glad, and I think people settle for us too. Like, we're not perfect examples, you know. It's like when we're like, I'm not going to settle. Well, you know what? You might be somebody settle a little bit. I'm sure I was. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's not easy being with somebody that's in recovery. I'm sure I'm not an easy person to be with, period, half the time, you know. But neither is my husband sometimes. I would rather have settled, and I don't feel like I settled necessarily, but there were things that were concerning to me when I first started dating Alex. His drinking was a concern to me. You know, he was 24 years old, I was 36, and, you know, he was drinking, and like he had just gotten out of college, because he had moved up here from Bloomington, and that was concerning to me. You know, the fact that I had basically just retired from, you know, a career, and he was just starting a career, was a concern of mine. But, you know, those were like the realistic things of how are we going to make this work, you know? Was kind of a little bit of what was concerning to me, you know. And then, like, I talked to my dad about some of the things, especially like the age difference, because I had never dated anybody where there was an age difference like that, you know. Well, with my dad, you know, I think he started, so my stepmom was, I think she was 24 when they got married, because she is 12 years older than me. And so yeah, so because there's like a 25-year age difference between my dad and my stepmom, I think. No, it's 21 years age difference. 20 or 21 years age difference. And, you know, I talked to my dad about that, and he gave me some great advice. They've been together. My dad and my stepmom have been together for that age difference. They've been together for like, well, shit, okay, 12 to 22, 22 to 32, 32 to 42. My dad and my stepmom have been together for 35 years. This year, oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. This summer, they were married 35 years. 35 years. So, you know, like, I don't know. But I think at some point you have to decide, and I'm not saying go pick a loser, you know, but I'm saying, like, do you want to be single for the rest of your life? You know, my mom said to me one time when I was complaining about not dating anybody for like the 1 month that I wasn't, she said, I hate that people in Indiana, like, all we do is spend money to build roundabouts and people don't know how to drive on them. So I was complaining about like not dating anybody, and we were watching like an episode of Jerry Springer, and these two guys were fighting over this woman, and you know, and I said I could never meet anybody, and my mom looked at me and she said, we're none of us promised a mate in life, you know. And my mom was very sad in life because, you know, later in life, because she never like dated anybody past a certain time, and I think she just was really lonely. She wanted a companion more than anything else. She would say to me, you know, things like, you know, Peter, as you get older, like, your erotic, passionate feelings don't go away. You still feel the same way that you do at 18 inside to some level, right? You're still that person. But she would say, like, I really just want a companion that I can, like, go out to dinner with or go on a date with or get dressed cute for, or, you know, that I can. I never know what I'm going to talk about on this vlog. It's so funny, and then it kind of takes on a life of its own at some point. I don't even know what got me to this point. But she would say, you know, I want a companion that I can travel with, and I can go to movies with, or go out to dinner with, and get dressed nice for, and go out, you know, on a date. But she would say, you know, but like, I don't want to, you know, settle at the same time. Well, I don't know. Settle into loneliness? I don't want that for people, you know? There's a lot of lonely people out there that maybe if we settled less wouldn't be lonely and they meet each other, you know? I have to tell you, and I'm being 100% honest about this, I've met some kind of what I would look at and be like, they're kind of weirdly couples. Like, I don't know how they fit together. Like, they don't make any sense to me whatsoever, right? And you'll be like, where did you meet? And they're like on eHarmony, and I'm like, okay, y'all don't make no sense whatsoever. No sense to me whatsoever. And they're the most in love people I've ever seen in my entire life, and they end up having 3 kids, and they're just so happy. Love does not need to make sense. It just doesn't, okay? Sometimes in this world, we just need to find somebody to spend our lives with. It's just about that. You know what I mean? It's like when people come into my vlog and they're like, you and Alex spend so much time alone, and you and Alex, don't be worried about my marriage, okay? We've been together 11, almost 12 years. We're just doing fine. We love spending our lives together. Maybe you worry about on your marriage a little bit more, okay? Or your relationship, because we're fine over here, right? That doesn't mean that we don't have our tough days. That doesn't mean that we don't have, you know, like, that's the thing that I always, like, when I got on here, I said, you know, that I was going to just be real honest about what marriage is like, because I would watch these YouTubers and they'd be like, oh my God, we're so happy in love, we're so happy together, and blah, 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 whatever. And I would sit there and I would watch it and I would be like, oh my God, these people are so in love, they're so happy. Like, what is wrong with my relationship? What is wrong with my life? Nothing. Their relationships were fake. That was all for show. Because none of those people are together anymore. And it makes me sad, right? It would be like, they're so happy, they're so happy, they're so happy, and then they would be putting out some catastrophe video. And then it'd be like, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, and then it would be a catastrophe video. And I just never understood it. Maybe it was all for, I don't know. Maybe it was all for trolling on YouTube, and I'm just not any good at trolling, but they're none of them together anymore, and it kind of makes me sad, because I was real invested in these people's lives. Probably more than they were invested in their own damn lives, to be real honest. I was probably more invested in their relationship watching it unfold on YouTube than they were ever invested in their own relationships, because if they were, they might still be together. I don't know, but anyway, so it is whatever it is, you know. But if you're somebody that's out there and you want to be in a relationship, get in a relationship, you know? Maybe not judge every person that you meet to, is this my dream person, you know? But maybe looking at them and saying, is there any way, you know, like when you're going a date or two on eHarmony or whatever, say, is there any way that I could see this person kind of like fitting into my life? Could I see them fitting into my life on any kind of level? You know what I mean? And asking yourself that question. And maybe giving people an extra chance. Or if there's somebody that you dated that you just were like, oh, you know, we disagreed over this or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm at the Meijer, which I call the Meijer because it has a J in it. But anyway, I'm at the Meijer, and I just don't like people to be lonely. It makes me sad. I love love, which is why I've been in a constant relationship since, well, basically forever. But anyway, I'm gonna get, these people are gonna be parking right here because they're unlocking their car doors. So I'm gonna try to park back here so that they're not in my videos. But I'm gonna get off here now. I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday. It took me, that was a long way to get to the grocery store. See, we're at the Meijer. The Meijer. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Do not be lonely, and do not have other plans. Make the most of your Monday. Do something fun. Do something exciting. Do something that you'll look back on and be like, hey, I'm really happy that I did that Monday. Anyway, life is short. Life is not a dress rehearsal, and you're exchanging a day of your life for it. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you, you are valuable, you are important. It's hard to do that sometimes. I love you, you are valuable, you are important, you are worthy. And I'm getting my hair cut this week, which I can't wait for. And believe that, okay? When you do your positive affirmations, you have to believe them. That's why we're doing our positive affirmations. And also try this one. Today is going to be a good day. Good things are going to happen today. And pass that off into the universe and manifest that. Yeah, we need to manifest positive and good things for ourselves. Anyway, I'm getting long-winded. And also the most important thing, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you, no matter who they are, right? And I love you guys, and just pick somebody at random throughout your day and say, hey, I just want you to know you make a difference in my life. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Love ya. Love ya.